I am back, and this is our very first Vocal Coach Reacts. My name is Jonathan E. Smith, and I am a vocal coach. And if you would like to support me in any kind of way, you can visit me on Patreon, follow me on Instagram, you can like me on Facebook, all of that good stuff. I will keep these videos coming, okay? Now listen. Now, if you think that this is if you think that this is all I got, you ain't seen nothing yet. All right? So today we're gonna react to The Color Purple live. I love Cynthia Erivo. She's one of my favorite singers in the whole world. Let's get into it.
God is inside me and everyone else that was or ever will be.
Okay. So I just want to start off by saying that she is really dialing into this balanced chord closure. Her voice is not too airy, her voice is not too compressed, right? It's just free flowing, and she is just releasing air. God is inside me and everyone else, you know? It's not, God is inside me and everyone, it's not like that. I think that there's a lot of character and a lot of personality in the voice when we sing with that balanced closure. I see every last one of these lace fronts. I do. There's one here. I see one there. I see one there.
I came into this world with God, and when I finally look inside, I found it just as close as my breath is to me.
Now, I tell my students a lot of the time that there is a certain amount of beauty that comes along with singing the way that we speak, okay? Because when we speak, if you are brought up in an expressive household, or you've just had the chance to express since childhood, our speaking voice and the way that we communicate and express has a lot of personality. You know what I mean? When we get excited, we talk up here, right? When we want to tell a secret, we talk really, really low, like this, When we're angry, we put some grit in the voice, right? And you can hear that when she hits that, just as close as my breath is, that just as close, she's really almost like drawing you in. Just as close as my breath is, and goes right back into that balanced closure. You can tell that balanced closure, that balanced coordination of the vocal folds is her standard. And I always tell my students that should be your standard. Breathy singing should not be your default. Super compressed singing should not be your default. Balanced vocal fold coordination where the air can flow in and the air can flow out should be your default. That should be what you default to. That's just me. You can go back in and add breath. You can go back in and add distortion, but you don't want that to be your default.
Rising like the sun.
Ooh, these harmonies.
It's the heart that sets us free. Your heartbeat make my heart beat when we share love like a.
One thing I want to say about The Color Purple, the musical, is that they invoke a lot of gospel a lot of gospel. And what I love about that is that, well, number one, I was raised in church, so anytime I hear any type of like gospel influence in mainstream or musical theater, it always like warms my heart, because it just kind of reminds me of home. Uh, but those harmonies are so beautiful, and it sounds really just kind of like one unified sound. There's not any voice that's really sticking out that much. It's just one unified voice. And they look like they're so happy to be there with one another. And they look so happy for Cynthia, too. I can only imagine how proud, they must be of her. She's in this amazing role. Let's keep going.
Rain of corn, like a honeybee, like a waterfall, all a part of me, like the color purple.
So, yeah, I think that she is in a light mix. I think. Um, Granted, all vocal function, whether you're singing low or high, is some form of a mixed voice. But I think that she is in a very light mix, maybe almost leaning towards head voice. Almost. You really heard it when she said rising. It was just a little bit lighter. It was a little bit more towards the head voice, I would think. But then again, if we were to sit down with her and ask her what she was doing there, she may say a completely different thing. That's kind of why these terms don't really matter: head voice, chest voice, mixed voice. They're more so just terms that you learn so that you can forget. They just kind of help you define high and low and vocal function. But if I had to decide, I would say my gut is saying she's in a mixed voice that is leaning towards head voice. But I might be wrong. I have been wrong in the past, and I ain't gonna stop being wrong. So
Where do we come from? Now my eyes are on. Look what God has done.
mm,
He take a grain of love to make a mighty tree. Even the smallest one can make the whole harmony.
mm, that balance. So I think that she's definitely going more towards a belt right now. She mixed voice is just a little bit. I just think that belting is. If I had to, in my understanding, chest dominant mix, a mixed voice that is chest dominant, is around the same thing as a belt. Because you just really get that really booming sound out of the mouth. It's late and I don't want to disturb my neighbors, so I'm not going to belt in my house, but I'll do a video on belting and mixing and all that another time. But I really do think that she is more towards a belt sound right now. Mix is just a little bit more behind the nose and behind this place in the face here. And yeah, let's keep going.
Like a drop of water, river high, miracles for you and I.
I show this video to my students sometimes because I want to show them, look at how much space is in her mouth. Look at how much space is in her mouth. We do all of this work to get our vocal function going. We get the energy going from the diaphragm. We get our voices like prepped. We do all of this work. And then when we go to sing, our mouth is this open. It's open this big. for you and you and I. No, no. Open your mouth and die, Open your mouth and let that sound ring out, okay? Um, I think a lot of times we are afraid of what our voices can do and we're afraid of our potential, really. And it's really sad because so many students would do so much better if they just open their mouth and let that sound ring from their bodies. This is the face I make when a student finally just lets that sound ring out. I'd be like, yes, that's good. Okay. Ooh. So much space. Okay. Was she belting or was she mixing, right? Who knows? Who cares, right? Who cares if she was belting or mixing? Can she do it every single day, 6 and 7 shows a week? That's what's no, 7, sometimes 8 shows a week. That's what matters, right? Are you vocally functioning in a way where you can do it consistently? And I think that she is. I also feel like Cynthia Erivo is a such a trained talent that she knows some days, okay, I can give you this sound, I can give you this big guttural sound from a belt. And then other days she like, I'm gonna have to mix this one. I'm gonna have to get it up in the head chamber there. Um, Again, I will go over these terms another day in a later video. Um, but again, stop getting so hung up on terminology and dive deeply into functionality. Okay, um, it doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you can call upon it. Do Jesus. Now listen, I'm about to put that in my book, y'all. It doesn't matter what you call it. Can you call upon it? Can you do it? Can you do it repeatedly? Can you do it consistently night after night after night after night? Nobody in the audience is gonna say, I don't, she mixed that high note. She ain't built that high note. I want my money back. How absurd would that be? Right? So let's not get hung up on terminology. It doesn't matter what you call it. Can you call upon it? Listen, I gave that one to y'all for free. I'm going to charge you for the next one. All right?
I don't think us feel
Back into the speech.
at all.
Sing. Sing.
I think this is the youngest us ever felt.
Sing, Cynthia. Yeah, yeah. If I couldn't say a word, if I couldn't say a word enough, if I couldn't say a word, oh, I just raise my hand. Listen, y'all. Just an amazing vocal performance. That was just amazing. It was so good that the first time I watched this, I wondered if they were lip syncing, and they weren't. A lot of musical theater stuff you see, that stuff is not lip synced. That stuff is not pre recorded. That stuff is not auto tuned. These people are the masters. These people and opera singers, they are the masters at being able to get that voice to go and go and go and go and go. You know? Conservation. She went up to an A. That's an A5 in head voice. Man. Listen. Cynthia Erivo is no joke. She's nothing to be played with. Yeah, amazing, 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 amazing. So guys, I'm actually about to set up a function where you guys can submit your singing videos to me, and I can analyze them, tell you what voice part I think you are, give you your strengths, give you your vocal, the things that you can work on, so much. So stay tuned for that. That will either be through Patreon or just through, sending me an email. So be on the lookout for that. And if you have any more videos that you want me to react to, please send them to me. Please. I would love to. I love watching people sing. And I love analyzing what they're doing right, what they could potentially work on, and what, advice I would give them if they were my students. Okay? This was a great one, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a great day.